Hi guys, welcome to your full moon class for this month. This is going to be a full yoga class for the full moon that is happening on Tuesday, April 7th. Full moon energy kind of starts a couple days before and goes for a couple days after. But yeah, so this full moon is going to be another super moon. It is in the sign of Libra. And Libra, if you know the little depiction of the zodiac sign, is the scales. It's all about balance. This full moon in particular is called the pink moon. It's not actually going to be pink. You might see maybe a little bit of a barely there pink hue, but it's going to be very big. This moon in particular symbolizes, again, balance, love. It's a great moon for love and illumination, as most full moons do, but especially this one. So the focus for this full moon is going to be, like I said, illuminating kind of things that maybe are out of whack in your life. I know right now with everything going on, we all feel kind of out of whack, and this full moon is going to shed some light on maybe those areas that you can work on or just bring them to your awareness, acknowledging, you know, anything that needs to be changed, any negativity, not even negativity, but just anything that doesn't feel right. Just acknowledging it can do more magic than you think. And balance, of course. Again, this is a Libra moon, so it's all about finding balance. So finding those things that don't feel right or that are out of whack and bringing balance to them. And finally, love. I would recommend focusing on self-love for this moon, but this is also a time to look at your closest partnerships, relationships, and again, see what is maybe out of whack or out of balance, shed some light on it, and bring it back into balance. So, with that being said, our mantra for this class is I am balanced. So we are going to be doing obviously a lot of balancing postures. We are going to work on an arm balance, crow pose. It is a beginner's arm balance. I recommend maybe having a block or two with you. Not necessary, but I'm going to demonstrate how to use those in crow pose to give you a little bit of a boost. But yeah, lots of balancing, lots of standing postures today. So yeah, I guess we can just go ahead and get started. So we're actually going to start standing at the top of our mat. So you can come to your feet. You're going to stand at the top of your mat. You're going to stand in Tadasana mountain pose. So your feet can be hips distance apart. They can be wider, they can be smaller, whatever is comfortable for you and your body. Your hands are going to be at your side. Imagine that somebody is pulling a string from the top of your head and straightening out your spine. You don't want to be slouching. You don't want to be super arching, just nice and straight. You can close your eyes here. And your hands at your side, they're active, all right? They're not just, resting. They're active. You're spreading your fingertips. Maybe you pick up all 10 toes, spread them, place them back down on the mat. And while we're here, we're going to work on some breath work and, again, balance and our mantra. So just being here with your eyes closed, you might feel a little sway. Very microscopic, but you can feel your body moving side to side, forward and backwards. Just the tiniest bit of movement as you stand here. And start to bring your awareness to your breath. So again, noticing that gentle sway, but we're still staying balanced. And now noticing your breath as it goes in and out through your nose. Not changing anything about it. Just checking in. Practicing non-judgment, so anything that might come up, whether it's in your mind or your body or your soul, just noticing it, acknowledging it, and moving on. Just like the full moon, we're bringing attention to it, we're illuminating it, maybe identifying the unbalance, and we're acknowledging it. We're not judging it or ourselves. Just shedding a little light. And forgive the Star Wars reference, but we're bringing balance to the Force. Now we're going to do a little breath work exercise. It's going to be about balancing the inhales and the exhales. So I want you to inhale through your nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We got one more just like that. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can continue those long, deep inhales and exhales. Just remember to try to keep the inhale and the exhale the same amount, balancing it out. Remembering our mantra, our intention for this class, I am balanced. Try to remember that as we go through this full moon energy, because it can make us feel a little bit out of balance, out of whack, because it's illuminating all the things that are out of whack. We have to bring it back. Use self-love, self-care, balance it out, bring it back to balance. Go ahead and take a big inhale in through the nose, and exhale, release through the mouth. Spreading out that intention into your space. When you're ready, you can gently flutter the eyes open. We're going to get started with some movement here. So I want you to inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, you're just going to take a side stretch over to the right, nothing too extreme. Stretching out that left side body. Inhale, come to center. And exhale to the other side. And go ahead, inhale, come to center. And exhale, you can release the hands to your heart. Now we're going to do some twists. So we're going to do a bunch of stuff here in our standing again, working in our balance. You can inhale your arms up. Exhale, you're going to open arm twist to the right. So your hips are going to want to go with you. Don't let them. Make them stay straight and forward. The only thing moving is your upper body. Maybe you can gaze over that back shoulder. See how far you can twist. Inhale, come to center. And exhale, other side again. Check in with those hips. Are they moving? Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release the hands to the heart. Now we're going to take a heart opener. So you're going to inhale your arms up. Exhale, goalpost out the arms. And take a little back bend here. Really opening up the chest. Starting to gaze backwards. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to heart. Now we're going to do that whole sequence one more time. So inhale, arms come up. Exhale, side stretch over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, center. We're going to link them this time. So inhale here. Exhale, take that twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, center. And exhale right into that heart opener. Inhale, center. And this time you can exhale, just go ahead and fold over your legs. So you can widen your stance here if it feels good. Finding your first forward fold of practice. You can keep a light bend to your knees if you need it. Maybe grab opposite elbows here. Just letting your upper body drape over your lower body, feeling the stretch in your hamstrings, but especially the low back. And just breathe here. Now when you're ready, you can bring your hands to your shins, press into them, inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to take a few of those little half vinyasas just to get our body warm. So when you're ready, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, go ahead and come to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. Now I want you to do the next two on your own breath, your own movement. I'm not going to cue it. I want you to just listen to your body, listen to your breath. You know the moves, and find your balance. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and start. We got 2 rounds. can meet with our hands at heart center once you're finished. We're going to take one more, but this time we're going to add on. So inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale for that halfway lift. Exhale for your fold. Now you're going to plant your hands, and I want you to step back to a high plank. If that's too much for you, you can just take it to a tabletop position. We're not going to hold this for very long, just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and drop to your knees and lower nice and slow all the way to your belly. So we're going to warm up our spine a little bit here. I want you to make sure your hands are right underneath your shoulders. Your feet bottoms are on the mat. You're going to inhale for your Cobra, just lifting the chest and shoulders. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Maybe this time you hover the fingers. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale up. Maybe this time, hover the hands. And exhale, release. This time we're going to inhale and press back to a child's pose. So nice and slow, inhale, coming to the knees. I like my wide-legged child's pose. So you're going to open up your knees as wide as your mat and just sink it back. Check in here. Find your breath again. This is a great grounding pose, so during these full moons, we do definitely need grounding. So if you find yourself in need of grounding, take a nice child's pose, feel the ground. All right, so we're gonna go into a little different version of a cat-cow. I'm going to demonstrate a basic cat-cow. So your basic cat-cow is here in tabletop. You inhale to arch, open up the chest. You exhale to round just like that. So if that's where you're comfortable, you're going to do that. If you want to take it a little bit more intense, a little bit deeper, we're going to go from that child's pose we were just in to a Cobra. So what that looks like is you're in your child's pose, and again, you can take wide-legged or regular child's pose, whatever you prefer. Here, you're going to inhale, come to your high Cobra, and exhale, come to child's pose. So figure out what you prefer, and we're going to get right into it. So whenever you're ready, inhale for your heart opener, and exhale, round. Inhale, open up, and exhale, round. Continue 5 more of these on your own breath, whatever variation you're taking. If you're doing Cobra, make sure your shoulders aren't shrugged up to your ears. You're pressing away from you on the mat. Remember your breath. Remember your intention, that you're balanced. This is a balancing flow. Go ahead and finish up your last round. We're going to meet in our tabletop position. So come into hands and knees, shoulders, elbow, wrist, all stacked in a line. Your hips are over your knees. We're going to do some more balancing here, of course. So first we're going to start with a modified side plank. So what you're going to do, it's not a full side plank. We're not going there yet. I don't think we're actually not going to do a full side plank in this class, so don't worry. You're going to take this right leg. You're going to kick it out to the side like it's a little kickstand. You're going to shift all of your weight onto that right side. Your left leg, mine's kind of blocked by my bed, is going to come straight out behind you. You're going to extend that left arm up, and you're going to hold there. Now, if you want a little bit more, you can lift that left leg up, pointer flex the toes, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the foot. Go ahead and shift back into that tabletop. We're going to take it to the other side. So again, kicking out the left leg like it's a little kickstand, shifting all the weight over. Inhale, open up. If you want a little bit more, lift up that back leg. We hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and release. All right, now we're gonna take it a step further. We're gonna do what's called a bird dog. So a lot of the times in yoga, we do this kind of variation of a bird dog where right arm, left leg is extended, and we crunch and release. I've taught it a bunch of times. This we're gonna do a little bit differently. So from your tabletop, I'm gonna have to scooch out because I have some stuff back here I don't want to knock over. We are gonna do opposite arm, opposite leg. If it's too much, just do your arm or just do your leg if you can't do both. So go ahead, extend that right arm and extend that left leg. Keeping the fingers active, either pointing or flexing the toes, really engaging the core. Now bring your right arm out. Bring your left leg kind of to almost like a little dog on a fire hydrant. So bending it, but bringing it out to the side. Now hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to center. And go ahead and release. We'll take it to the other side. So left arm extends, right leg goes back. Hold here, and then slowly shift it out. So left arm going out to the side, bending into your right leg, holding it out to the side, and we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to center, and go ahead and release. You should have felt your core super engaging, lots of balance. Maybe you were shaking, that's okay. That's part of balancing. So, all right, enough of that. Now, I want to teach you guys through Chaturanga, because when we practice our crow pose, your Chaturanga arms are essential for finding that balance. Chaturanga arms are used for most arm balances, so we're really going to learn that. If you've never done Chaturanga before, don't worry, I got you. We're going to start from our knees, and we're going to work our way up. So, your Chaturanga, let me demonstrate the full expression of the pose. So you're starting in a high plank. Shoulder, elbow, wrist in line. Your spine is nice and straight. You shift forward. You exhale, bend at the elbows. And then inhale, come up to your upward facing dog to release. So the Chaturanga is that act of bending the elbows. It's like a yoga push-up. It's almost like a tricep push-up. So again, full expression. You see how I'm leading with the chest. I'm not I'm not doing one of these where my hips are going down. My body is staying in a straight line. The only thing bending are my elbows, and my chest is going down first. So practice that. Let me show it from the knees. So still finding that plank position. Spine is nice and straight. Again, leaning forward and just bending at the elbows. And you can come to a Cobra to release. So practice that a few times. We're going to incorporate it into our next little flow. So I know it's a lot of upper body. If you really want some more, you can do some Chaturanga push-ups. Be warned, I hate Chaturangas, guys. It's all chest muscle and I have none. So, I only had one in me, but if you really want to get into it, don't wear yourself out too much, because we still want to have some arm strength when we work on our crow pose. So play around. There's going to be a lot of playtime in this class, especially when we're working on crow. So take some time, get some Chaturangas in. You can tell I'm like out of breath because they're hard. Grab water when you need it. All right. So when you're done, we're going to meet in our tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes. You can inhale your hips up and back. Find your first downward facing dog of class. Walk it out a little bit. Go ahead and gaze to the top of your mat. I want you to take a bunch of tiny steps to come all the way into your forward fold. Hang out here. Go ahead and inhale, come all the way to standing, and exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to take a vinyasa with our Chaturanga, and we're going to add on, get a little bit more balancing. This is the time to grab your blocks. If you want to, not necessary, but we're gonna do a warrior 3, which is a balancing posture, and you might need these to hold on to. So bring those to the top of your mat. Also, you can come next to a wall, use a chair, anything you can use to kind of hold your balance. There's no shame in using props. So come to the top of your mat. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Come back to your high plank. We're going to go into that Chaturanga. Feel free to skip it if you don't feel ready, or take it from your knees, or just hold high plank. Go and shift forward. Chaturanga. Inhale for that upward facing dog. And exhale for your downward facing dog. Now we're going to inhale that right leg up and back for a 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring the knee into the chest. Plant it for a lunge. Now we're going to come up to a high crescent lunge. If this is already enough for you, this is where you're going to take your blocks. You're going to hang out right here. If you want a little bit more, you're going to use your core, again, balance, to lift straight up. Finding your high crescent. Making sure your back foot is active, your back leg is as straight as possible. If you have a knee injury, it's okay if you have a little bend. And finding that high crescent. Take a second to check in with your hips. Make sure they're square. Make sure this knee is right over the ankle. And breathe. You might feel a little bit of a shake. Sink a little lower. Now go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. We're going to transition into our warrior 3. Now this is where the balance comes in. This is where find a wall if you need it. Put all the weight into this front leg and start to slowly shift forward. This is where you can use your blocks if you need them. If not, you can keep your hands at your heart center. Remember to flex this back foot. Having your foot active, whether it's pointed or flexed, will help with balance. Maybe airplane the arms, maybe arms overhead, and we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step back down into that lunge, and exhale, release your hands to the mat. You can go to your tabletop, or if you want to flow, plant your hands, step back to your 3-legged dog, release into your downward facing dog. And optional vinyasa here if you want to take that Chaturanga flow. If not, you're going to gaze up towards the top of your mat and tippy toe yourself all the way forward. Shake it out here. We still got the other side, friends. Go and bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Check in here. Close your eyes. Maybe you feel wobbly. Maybe your balance didn't feel quite there. In those postures, it's okay. Give yourself compassion. Give yourself grace. Give yourself love. And we're going to flow the other side. Want to inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Again, this is our chance for your Chaturanga practice. If you want to skip it, skip it. If not, go ahead. We will meet in our downward facing dog. And we're going to inhale that left leg up and back. Exhale, knee into the chest, planting it for that lunge. Again, maybe this right here is your edge. Hang out here. If you want to test that core, test that balance, inhale straight up to that crescent. Again, give your hips a little check. Make sure they're square to the front of your mat. Make sure that knee is over the ankle. Maybe sink a little bit lower and breathe and hold. Now go ahead and bring the hands to heart center. We're transitioning to that warrior 3, putting all the weight into this front leg. until you can pick up the back leg and shift forward. Again, flex or point the back foot. If you need the blocks, hold on to blocks. If you need a chair, wall, whatever, play around with some arm variations. And we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shift back into your lunge. Exhale, hands come down. And again, if you want to go through your tabletop, through your downward dog, whatever you prefer, go ahead and take a child's pose. That's where we will meet. Take a little rest. I know it's a lot. Recheck in here. Is perhaps this class illuminating something that maybe feels out of balance or out of whack? It's okay. Breathe in your child's pose. Acknowledge anything that needs to be acknowledged. And remember to show yourself love. Because after this, a little child's pose rest, we got some playtime. We're gonna have some fun. And remember, or try not to get frustrated, especially if this is your first time, because it is hard, but that's okay. We practice. That's why it's called a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. It takes time and it takes a lot of practice. So when you're ready, go ahead and come to a seated pose. I'm going to demonstrate crow pose before you guys attempt it. I'm going to preface this with, don't hurt yourself. Take it slow. I would rather you get the form correct and not even get off the ground than hurt yourself. So this is where your block comes in. If you've never ever done crow pose before, I want you to start in a block. You're going to grab a block. Also optional, you can grab a pillow and place it right in front of your face. So you have a crash pad. Again, not necessary, but it makes some people feel better to have that there. I find that most people are just afraid of falling, and that's what prevents them. If you have a pillow there, you don't feel as bad. So whatever you need, listen to yourself. So take your block. You're going to come step right on top of it. You're going to be on your tippy toes. And you're going to come down. Now here's how I teach crow. Some people teach it with the legs kind of on the outside, like hugging in, squeezing the arms. I teach it with knees right on top of the triceps. So you might get some bruises, I'm not gonna lie. It might feel uncomfortable, but your balance is going to be way better. So hands come flat onto the mat, as flat and as strong as you can get them. You're gonna try to get those knees as high up onto the triceps as you can. If you're just right here, great. Keep your feet on the mat or on the block. You don't even have to come up. Feel that engagement in the arms, in the core, and gaze forward. That is key. You don't want to be gazing underneath you because you'll just roll right over. Gaze forward and notice my Chaturanga arms, right? I'm going to get rid of this block because I don't need a block for it, but notice how my arms go into that Chaturanga position, right? They're bent. They're 90-degree angle. I'm very sweaty, so my knees are slipping, but that's it. That's crow pose. Let me get it one more time. Now this is your playtime. Take your time. Do what feels right. Fall. Have some fun with it. It's okay to fall, right? Being sweaty definitely doesn't help matters. I can feel my knees sliding down my arms. It's okay. That's usually why I wear pants. But yeah, have some fun with it, guys. This is your balancing. This is your fun time. Let loose. Let yourself fall. Experiment. Maybe you're like, crow's easy. Maybe then you try your tripod headstand. Try taking your crow, your Bakasana, right into your headstand. Maybe do a jump back to Chaturanga. There are so many different levels, different ways, and just have fun with it, because everything that's going on right now, we need some fun in our lives, right? So when you're done playing around, we're gonna meet in a seat on our mats. I'm sitting in this kind of zigzaggy position to get the inside and the outside of my hips. If you want to join me here, please feel free. You can sit easy seated pose. You can sit Baddha Konasana, whatever your body feels good. If you're sitting like me, we're going to switch halfway through. All right, we're going to stretch out our wrists a little bit, just because crow pose is kind of heavy on the wrists. So when you're ready, just take it into some wrist circles. So you're expanding the hands, then coming to fists. Go and take it in the opposite direction. Now shake them out like you're trying to flick some water off of your hands. I'm going to go ahead and switch my legs. You hear my knee pop. All right, now you're going to take your fingers together like this, and we're going to stretch it out to one side. Go and stretch it out to the other. And one more time. Now take your hands into a ball and roll them around in a circle. You can hear my wrists cracking, snap, crackle, pop, totally okay. Go and take it in the opposite direction, which suddenly makes it 1,000 times harder. All right, you can go ahead and release. Hopefully your wrists feel a little bit better. Now we're going to start to cool down properly. So I want you to find, again, your child's pose, wide-legged or regular, whatever you prefer. We're going to take some gentle stretches here. Get grounded, because we did a lot of balancing, a lot of flying in our crow pose. Now it's time to bring it back down to earth. Go and take a big inhale in through your nose. And exhale through the mouth. I want you to inhale here. Exhale, just walk your arms over to the right. Again, we're stretching out that left side body, lengthening. And inhale, slowly come back to center. And exhale, over to the left. Go ahead, slowly come back to center. We're going to come up to our tabletop position. We're going to take just 3 more maybe downward facing dogs here to get to our pigeon pose. So you're going to tuck the toes, come up to your downward facing dog. You're going to inhale the right leg up and back. Exhale, bring the knee right to your right tricep, and then bring your shin parallel to the front of the mat and drop into that pigeon. Now you can take a block and place it under that hip if you find that there's a lot of space there. If not, totally no worries. Take a second to come to the full expression of the pose before you relax, and come to fold over that front leg. I like to kind of rock a little bit here, really get into that hip. And breathe here. The hips are where we store our emotions, so it's always good to just get into the hips a little bit, especially when these full moons come around, and release any tension. Again, bring illumination to what's hiding in there and let it go. When you're ready, you can come back to your palms. You can either transition just through your tabletop nice and gentle, or if you want, tuck the back toes, come back to that 3-legged dog. I'm going to go ahead and switch it out. So bring that left knee to the left elbow. Shin comes parallel. Back leg goes straight back. And again, find the full expression of the pose. Little back bend maybe before you come all the way down. You might find that one side is more flexible than the other, one side feels different. That's okay. I know our focus is balance in this class, but sometimes, hey, you know what? We're human. We're unbalanced. We're not symmetrical, and all we can do is bring attention to those things that aren't balanced and work on them, right? All right, when you're ready, come back to your hands. Again, choose your transition, whatever it may be. We're gonna go ahead and meet on our backs. So you can come down to that tabletop, come down to your back. We're gonna get nice and cool, get some twists in here. So go ahead and hug your knees up into your chest. Give them a little rock from side to side. Massage out that low spine. And from here, you can either bring your arms out to a T position or you can goalpost. You're just gonna drop your knees over to the right, taking that twist. Maybe gaze over your left shoulder. This is honestly my favorite part, is twisting. Makes my back feel so good. One inhale, come to center. Exhale, bring it over to the other side. Again, maybe you gaze over your opposite shoulder. An inhale, come center. We're going to take my favorite pose of all time, happy baby. So you're bringing your feet bottoms up. The pants got stuck towards the ceiling. Grabbing either the back of the thighs, the back of the calves, or maybe you can grab your feet, pulling them down towards you. Trying to pull your knees down towards the ground. Really opening the hips, the hip flexors, low back. Maybe you rock from side to side. Maybe you straighten one leg and then the other. Maybe straighten both legs. When you're ready, you can release. Take any final pose that's calling to you, anything that's calling your name, maybe an inversion, maybe more twists, maybe a bridge, back bend, whatever it is. Take your time. And when you're done, we're going to find ourselves in Shavasana. This is where I'm going to leave you. But before we leave, I want you to bring it back to that intention, to that breath. And we're going to do that same breathing exercise we did at the beginning, just one more time. So first, take up as much space on your mat as you want to, as you're comfortable. Now we're going to bring it to that breath. So inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can release that breath or you can continue on with it. Make sure you spend some time here in Savasana. This is where I'm going to leave you. But spend as much time as you need here. Remember, I am balanced. You are balanced. Even though we might have to shed some light on the things that are out of whack and are out of balance, we can work on it. Show yourself some love this full moon. Do a self-love, self-care ritual. This can be part of it. Yoga is definitely self-love. And I will see you next time.
The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste.